Gather round, kids. Today, we're doing story time. Yay. So, today, I tell the story of when I met the apparent love child of Cerberus and Krampus. We will have a module on Greek mythology at some point, but Cerberus's name actually means spot, and he was owned and rather beloved by Hades, lord of the underworld. And Krampus is known in Christmas traditions in Holland as an eater of naughty children, which sounds really gross, actually. Just the two words naughty and children. Ooh, so much squick. Anyway, when I was small, very, very small, maybe around 5, 6 years old, I had a babysitter before and after school sometimes. We will call her Mrs. N. And Mrs. N would get children to behave, sometimes by scaring the absolute heebie-jeebies out of them, which is a terrible, terrible way to get children to behave, by the way. And I'm still reminded of this years later, every time I go past a mechanic shop in my hometown, because apparently it really stuck with me. So I would be over after school, just doing after school things, hanging out with her cats, watching TV with her, things like that. And if children, because there were a couple different children that would come over, and she would say, if you guys don't behave, I'll take you across the street to this mechanic shop where there were guard dogs, big guard dogs that had very deep bass barks. You know, they could have sung in a choir and they would have been singing bass, not tenor. Well, anyway, well, I will let them eat you. Essentially, we'll talk to the owner and his dogs will eat you if you don't behave. And, you know, the mind just goes weird, like, oh my gosh, I need to behave myself, I need to be the best girl ever, etc., etc. And so one day she had to go get her car fixed, and I was the only kid there that day, so I had to go with her, which terrifying experience because of these stories that I was hearing. You know, if you're bad, you will get eaten. And lo and behold, here come the dogs. I'm a wee little thing. They're just gigantic Dobermans. And, you know, here they come. I am literally just shocked, completely still, frozen. I am Han Solo when he goes into the freezy stuff, you know, and temporarily becomes stone. I love you. I know. Anyway, would you believe one of the dogs just walks right up to me and licks my face and then promptly pees himself. And essentially, every little kid's worst nightmare is suddenly to have a dog go pee-pee just all over the... And at that moment, I realized he was excitably weeing all over the place, and because he saw a friend. And everyone else in the room, all the humans in the room are laughing because, oh gosh. And I realized apparently I had a fuzzy friend over there, and Later I found out that during the daytime, these doggies could not possibly care less. They just did their thing. It was at night that they actually became guard dogs. And it was terrifying. And by the way, do not use fear to get a child to behave. Actually, in my life, I've found that the dogs that are actually terrifying are roughly the size of an American football, maybe slightly smaller, and would lay in wait to nip your ankles as hard as they could. Also, Chihuahuas. Chihuahuas are flipping terrifying. The more you know. So, so if someone says to you that you will behave or else this will happen, that person's kind of a jerk. So anyway, thank you for popping into story time, and take really, really good care of yourselves. Love you much, and keep on working on. This world is a beautiful place, and it's hard to enjoy the beauty if you're perpetually terrified. As for the bizarre parentage of the dogs, I will not analyze which of the parents, either Cerberus or Krampus, did what, because that is actually terrifying and squeaky on so many levels. But anyway, you are loved, take good care, and thank you for popping in. And you are awesome.